Adams in Tybee Island, Georgia. This is my husband, Craig, my son, Sawyer, and my daughter, Campbell.
Honey, our kids' hands are a mess.
Dirty hands!
A tomato?
Today, I'm going to turn vegetables into soap. Welcome. This is where I'm going to make my vegetable-dyed tomato gardener soap today. This is my tomato basil infusion, and it's the first thing I do to make my soap. I take basil and sun-dried tomatoes and I put it in this jar with olive oil and sit it on a windowsill for about 2 days. It's sort of like making my own essential oil. This one's ready, so I'm going to start with my lye mixture. I have to use 28 ounces of water and 14 ounces of lye or my soap won't harden. I won't lie, this is dangerous stuff, so I'm going to put on my apron and my gloves, my mask, and my eyewear. I pour the water in first and then pour my lye in. I never want to pour water onto lye. I could have a volcanic eruption and that could be very dangerous. I mix it with a spatula so it dissolves properly. It's going to let off a lot of heat, and I'm going to sit it to the side until it cools down. My lye is set to the side, and I'm going to mix my oils. I'm going to measure out coconut oil into this bowl I have on my scale. I've already melted my coconut oil by sitting the can in a bath of warm water. Coconut oil melts at typically about 76 degrees. I'm going to measure 24 ounces. And I'm going to pour it into my pot. I'm going to add my palm oil now, and I'm going to need 24 ounces of that. I have my coconut oil and my palm oil in the pot, and now I'm going to add my tomato basil infusion. And I'm going to do that by straining it through a cheesecloth. This will keep the tomatoes and basils from This will keep the tomatoes and basil from falling into my mixture. I use a cheesecloth instead of a metal strainer because of the tiny particles that might be in my infusion, and I don't want that to end up in my final soap. I'm going to have to add more olive oil to it because I need 54 ounces to make the soap. I've got all my oils in my pot now, and I'm going to put them on the stove on a very low setting so they'll all be in liquid form. Says a watched pot never boils. While my oils are cooling, I'm going to create the liner for my wooden mold so that my soap won't stick to the bottom of the mold. I'm going to cut some freezer paper, fold it over this template, and then set it down into my mold box. Then I'm going to lift the edges up and take them down to secure them to the mold. I'll also tear the corners of the freezer paper to make them fit around the corners of the box. I'm done lining my mold, and now I'm going to go check on my oils to make sure they've cooled enough. Now that my oils are ready, I need to measure out everything because this is the part of soap making that goes very fast. Tomato paste is going to help color the soap. I'm using a tomato leaf fragrance oil, which is going to give the soap a nice gardeny scent. I'm using paprika to also color the soap a nice orange. And ground apricot seeds and poppy seeds will serve as an exfoliant in my soap. Now that I've gotten everything measured out and ready to go, it's time to add my lye to my oil mixture. And now it's time to mix it with my hand mixer. It'll turn into a pudding-like consistency called trace, and that means it's time to add everything else to the soap. Once my soap mixture is ready, I'm going to pour it in the mold, cover it with the lid, and then cover it with a blanket to keep the soap hot so that the lye will continue to evaporate out. And let it sit undisturbed for 24 hours so the soap process can continue. This soap has been curing for 24 hours and now it's hard enough to cut. I'm going to take my soap cutter and I'm going to stick it into the slots of my mold and press down firmly, and it'll cut my soap into bars. I've always liked natural and organic products, but after the birth of my first child, who had sensitive skin, I started making my own soap and had so much fun with it, it turned into an obsession. It's a very mild bar, so it really has helped her skin, and it also makes her smell really good after a bath. My soap is ready to pop out of the mold now. I'm going to sit it out on freezer paper and let it cure for 4 weeks, and then it'll be ready for me to use. I have some bars here that have been cured for 4 weeks. Smells like my garden. I'm going to cut some fabric and some raffia and wrap them around the soap to give to friends and family. My vegetable dyed tomato garden soap is done. Now my kids will be so clean I could just eat them up.